As I was saying on part 1 at the end, where's the liberal outcry for this man to have justice? Where's there why ain't friggin' Jesse Jackson up there marching about that son of a gun freezing to death? Hello? Where's Al Sharpton at? Where's the ACLU at? I mean, where's the outcry from the liberals? Where's the outcry from the conservatives? There's no outcry except from a neighbor, you see. But the American people are getting pissed off up there. I hope they go up there and jerk that son of a gun out of there. Every city official that was involved in it, I hope they tar and feather them. I hope they do. Because that is uncalled for in America. For a man that gave his whole life to his nation, he worked, he didn't bother nobody, he paid his taxes, and taxed to death all his life. And by the way, if this elderly man, Marvin Schur, S-C-H-U-R, had not had to pay the amount of taxes he paid on his home, had not had to pay the amount of federal, state, and income taxes, had not been ripped off by Social Security, which is a scam. It's nothing but a Ponzi scheme and a scam. Social Security is a bigger Ponzi scheme than made off of this other dude. The other dude's $350 million. You think about how many people have been scammed through the Social Security trust fund supposed to be. It's nothing but a tax. Social Security is a tax. You don't get back what you pay in. You don't live long enough, number one. They don't give you back what you paid in, number two. When are we going to wake up, America? When are we going to wake up? When are we going to become men again? Well, in time, why are you so mad about it? You didn't even know this man. I don't have to know him to be mad about it. Because I got something called a conscience. And it bothers me when such stupidity and malice and murder takes place on a person because they didn't have $1,100, but they spent their whole life paying taxes. That's what pisses me off. But yet you got friggin' people that won't get out, hunt a job. Back when everything was going hunky-dory, they sit on their fat butts and they draw their checks, their welfare checks and all. But guess what? Not this man. No. City officials too sorry to knock on the door and do their friggin' job, by the way, that's paid for by taxpayer money, you see. They ought to be brought up on criminal negligence is what ought to happen. It ain't going to happen, though. We'll see. Let's move on with the article. And I'll get back to the tax issue about it in a minute. Listen to this. Powell said he blames the city for Marvin Schur's death. So do I. So do I. I do too. I do too. I do too. Yes, sir, buddy. It says Bay City Police Department officers investigated Schur's death, but declined to comment, referring all questions to Billman. Of course they're not going to comment. The friggin' police department ain't going to admit they're doing something wrong. They're not going to admit that somebody in the city official did something wrong. They're going to cover each other's butt. Hey, American patriot, when are you going to stand up and cover another patriot's butt? When are you going to be the backbone and the spine for what I and Martin and many others have tried to do? When are you going to stand up? A lot of you have written me emails and personal messages and things, and my God, at the overflood, man. I mean, my wife was trying to dissect and go through it because it goes to another email account in case I click this and mess up. And she could not even shut it down for the flood of mail that I got when I said that I was shutting down. I mean, I had no idea. I mean, I know I had a bunch of subscribers and all and friends, but I got to looking. I got 200-something thousand video views. I never dreamed it. You know, the selfishness and wanting to bring safety to my family, which I know that's my number one job, but selfishness and emotion, and I was preaching to y'all about intellect and not emotion the other night, and there I was being controlled by emotion. That's pathetic, ain't it? It is pathetic, and I'm sorry. I'm only human, though. But back to the point I'm making on the video. Paul said he blames the city of Marvin for Schur's death. His furnace was not running. Insides of his windows were full of ice the morning we found him. Powell said, this limiter is supposed to regulate the amount of electricity he was using, but still allow enough power to run the furnace. Obviously, it didn't work. So, we have a couple of things we need to discover here. Number one, did the sorry city official that put the limiter on there go and knock on the door and let him know what was going on? Okay, and number two, if he didn't do it, criminal negligence at least should be brought against him. And number three, the dumb A's, and I'll leave off the SS, you figure it out. They knew the age of the man because they had tax records on him. They knew who he was, they knew how old he was, and they knew exactly what could take place when they did what they did, but they didn't care. You see, the point in time trying to make tea tonight is they don't care anymore. They don't care. See, they don't care, my friend. They could care less about you. You see, I can't for the love of God, let me figure out to this day as to why when I bought my vehicles and I paid for my vehicles, the stickers on them, 40-something grand a piece. Okay? And I paid for them vehicles, and I worked for them vehicles. But every year, I have to keep buying that little old sticker for my vehicles and my tool trailer and my other trailers, and I pay $1,000 a year to put a little stinking sticker on there, and I don't remember nobody helping me pay for it. I don't remember nobody helping me do none of it, but I have to, according to the county and the state law, I got to buy this little green sticker and give the government $1,000 or more a year for what I pull and what I drive in order to be able to drive it. Just that one thing alone in 20 years is $20,000. That's one person. That's me. Say you got people that live in that county, there's 100,000. You take 20,000 times 100,000 and you see what you come up with. That's just on one thing. That ain't got nothing to do with the other taxes that tax you to death. This man was taxed to death all his life. And over $1,100 he lost his life because this New World Order system says, to hell with you, we want our money or we want your life, and that's what it boils down to. That end time's being straight with you. I told you, I'm sick and tired of pussyfooting around with this thing. Basically, it amounts to this. If you want to think about it, you pay us or you die. You pay us or you freeze to death. You tell me if I'm wrong. I'm not. I'm telling you, buddy, straight on the head. I just ain't sugarcoating crap. That sugar gives you cavities, and I don't want none of it. So let's move on. Belmont City officials will review electric light and power bill policies in the wake of Schuer's death. Belmont said he doesn't believe the city did anything wrong. Who gives a rat's behind what Bellman said? Who the hell is Bellman? I mean, big friggin' deal. Who died and left him God's what I want to know. But in any event, let's move on. I've said this before, and some of my colleagues have said this. Neighbors need to... Watch. He shifts the blame from the city and the officials, okay, and the worker to the neighbor. Watch. I've said before, some of my colleagues have said this. Neighbors need to keep an eye on neighbors, Bellman said. When they think there's something wrong, they should contact an appropriate agency or city department. Okay, look at here, Bellman. The limiter you put on there, has the friggin' thing got a red flashing light to let the neighbors know that you limited the 90-something-year-old man's electricity? Some of us ain't as dumb as you want us to be. But he's not worth even discussing much, Bellman ain't, because he's as stupid as a brick, okay? But having said that, the taxes this man paid all his life, unlawful taxes at that, all the money he paid in, didn't matter to them officials. They couldn't look at what he paid in and said, let's have some leniency. We're in an economic depression. Everybody's been ripped off by the bankers. The Jewish bankers, they've been ripped off by the Gentile government. They've been ripped off by this and that. No, nobody takes that in consideration. Shut him down. Limit his electricity. Freeze him enough till he'll come in here. Make him freeze till his fingers get frostbit. Maybe he'll come in then. That's the kind of devilish garbage, the kind of demonic mess that's taking place. And I tell you right now, where are the men at in America? Where they at? Tell you where they at. They're asleep. I'm sounding the trumpet and warning people as the watchman on the wall. Wake up! There's injustice after injustice. I just proved one to you. What you gonna do? Is it gonna be nothing? It's end time. I'll be back.